Okay, guys, the question everyone asked me, Dave, if you had a crystal ball, what should I go and do? Where should I work? What should I invest in? Well, you're going to get the answers here. And the answer is anything to do with the financial economy. And by that, I mean anyone involved in the financial economy, whether it be catering for them, business trips for them, being in a bank, lawyers, accountants. And we'll explain why. The financial economy is a totally different economy to the real economy. It relies on the Fed or any central bank. What happened was we had QE when the pandemic started in March, and the Fed decided to inflate its balance sheet from $3 trillion to $7 trillion in a second. Now, what it did there, it says to the main dealer banks, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, whoever they are, you give us treasuries, we'll give you bank reserves. So the Fed, its thing says, we've got assets, we're going to take your treasuries, we'll put them on our asset side, and we'll give you bank reserves, we'll put that on our liabilities. They give it to them, they then enter the financial markets, and they invest in either the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones, the property market, or they lend out money to the hedge funds or whoever that then goes and invests in them. Now, why is this a great deal for them? Because treasuries are ridiculously cheap. They're in fact negative interest rates generally, especially in Europe, and they're not earning them much. So they give them over to the Fed, and they get back this bank reserves where they can earn huge amount of interest because these are going up so rapidly. Another point you have to understand is they're giving them treasuries. Treasuries is government debt. So the government is very happy because these dealer banks have to then go and buy treasuries in order to give it to the Fed. So they're buying up government debt, and the government is so happy because then it can spend on its pathetic furlough programs and its crazy stimulus programs. So anyway, they've gone in here, they inflate this through the roof, as we've seen, record high, crazy amount of property increased 20% in New Zealand, in the UK, the best 6 months ever, all during a pandemic where 25% of the population is unemployed, right? Or sorry, on some form of government benefit. So furlough or unemployment, right? 25% of the population, that's a depression, yet all these categories are going through. I saw a beautiful joke. Someone actually said if there was NASA came down and said there's an asteroid with a 99% chance of blowing up the whole Earth, the stock market would actually increase because there's a 1% chance it wouldn't. That is how insane the stock market is decoupled from reality. So stocks are up, properties up, assets are up. Now assets being gold, silver, antiques, wine, whatever you want. All these things are in crazy. 2019 best asset class was gold, right? All gone crazy through the roof. We only have one inflation measure that even touches this, and that was called RPI, the Retail Price Index, which had a tiny connection to the property market because it included mortgages and rental. Yesterday, the Bank of England announced they are getting rid of all their RPI-linked bonds because they can't even pay a paltry 5%. It's too much for them. And why should they? They can use the lying, scheming CPI. So why use RPI? You'd have to be mad. They've already convinced the whole population in the 90s that RPI is not correct. Use CPI, which is a load of rubbish. So even though RPI did not include increases in stocks or increases in assets, all it included was tiny increases in property. They can't even live like that. They need to use real economy metrics. They cannot look at the financial economy because it is too inflated. So they look at the real economy. So the real economy is Jim here selling his chocolate bar to Joe, who sells them his dental services. Quite funny there. Services being 80% of a Western world economy, and pretty much the only thing I could think of that Western world actually makes is chocolate. So there you go, chocolate selling, getting the thing. CPI, Consumer Price Index, at a paltry 0.5%. Think about it, the price of chocolates has increased since last year, doubtful. Probably decreased. Price of dental services, doubtful. Even though the central bank's inflation target is 2%, it can't even hit that. It's pretty much in deflation, the real economy. It's actually going down. Look at the price of tickets for flights. Look at the price of hotels. We're in deflation in this economy and hyperinflation in this economy. So, what am I telling you guys this for? If you are involved in the financial economy, you will be sorted. Get involved, become a lawyer, become an accountant, help these guys out. Anything that helps them out to do what their property, selling their kind of property, second homes is up 100% in America. Anyone involved in that will do well. Anyone involved here, hairdressers, tour guides, anyone selling manufactured goods, you're in big trouble because it's not going to get better ever. We have a dichotomy, and none of the political parties are going to help you. Biden certainly won't. He's been bought by all the banks, and sad to say, nor was Trump. Trump was a very big lover of stock market booms and happy to let it boom and rip for no reason. He also did not stop share buybacks, the biggest fraudulent disgrace, which is where a company uses money where it sells products to then buy its own shares to inflate the shares so it only helps its stock shareholders. Absolute disgrace, banned in the 1930s, Steel Glass Act, removed again by the Clinton administration, and so therefore you can have pretty much a loss-making company take on debt, buy its own shares, inflate the shares, then sell out and not pay back the debt. This is the craziness of this financial economy, and if you're not involved in this, you're in really big trouble.